Hey guys, I hope you guys watched the first half of this video where I went over my top 20 through 11 films of the year. Now it's time for the big video of the year, my top 10 movies of 2016. I ended up seeing, I think, a total of 89 new releases in 2016, and these were the 10 best. If I were to say you can watch 10 movies this year, here are the 10 that I think you would have to see. Number 10 is Zootopia, which is actually my second favorite Disney animated movie. I think I've seen it multiple times. I think this movie is so well written. Like everything that gets introduced, from what I caught at least, has payoff, either thematically or emotionally or just in the story. It's so well made. I love the political aspect of the movie. I just love the character relationships as well. It's just, this movie's so smart, and Woody is a Breaking Bad reference, which, I mean, that's pandering to me, but I don't care because it was wonderful. Side note, when I say Disney Animation, I only mean like Disney Animation Studios. I like half the Pixar films more than Zootopia, but in terms of like, if you're not counting Pixar, then Zootopia I think is their second best movie in my opinion. Number 9 is Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which is such a dumb title. Star Wars Rogue One in my heart. I saw this movie, I think, 6 times in theaters. People that watched my video last year know that Star Wars The Force Awakens was my number 1 movie of last year. I still like Force Awakens more than Rogue One. Rogue One is still a great movie for me. I read Star Wars Catalyst as well, so I knew a lot of the character development before I saw the movie, and it was for me that was like one long story in my brain. For me, the first half of the movie is good. It gets better the more times you watch it because you're more familiar with the characters and you get to see more of their traits. A lot of things will stick out at each new viewing for me. But the last 45 minutes of this movie is spectacular. It's just a gritty Star Wars war movie with a space battle and a ground battle, and it's an intercutting between 3 or 4 different battles and Scarif. It's amazing. The last 10 minutes is mind-blowingly good. I don't care if it's fan service, it's so damn good, and I loved it. I know I didn't do a Rogue One review, but I probably would give it a 4 out of 5, a 4.4 out of 5. I think after multiple viewings, I like the movie more and more each time I watch it. I'm gonna watch it probably 5 times this year. Just whenever it comes on Blu-ray, I'll watch it once a month for a few months probably, because the last 45 minutes is just so damn good that you have to see this movie. I'm a Star Wars fanboy, but it's so good. My number 8 film of the year is The Witch. I know this was at Sundance 2015, I believe, and they waited a full year to release it in theaters. And man, this movie fucked me up. For days I was scared of things I shouldn't have been scared of because I saw The Witch. The story goes places that I didn't expect it to. There's a reveal, I guess, in the 3rd act that, I don't have much of a reveal, but it was what? I don't want to spoil what I look at differently after watching The Witch, but there's something that I look at differently, and if you've seen the movie, you'll probably know what I'm thinking of. But I love how this wasn't just a conventional horror film with a lot of jump scares. Is there even a single jump scare? I don't remember any. But it was just non-stop tension. I was terrified the entire time because it's not only the story of a witch terrorizing this family, but it's a story, it's like a prequel to the Salem witch trials, basically. That's how I've described it to my friends. I'm this is what happened, kind of, somewhat. Although I know the director did a lot of research for the Salem witch era in New England, which is really interesting to see that all happen on screen. In the first 20 minutes, it was just this super conventional horror scene that's terrifying. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm this is absolutely horrifying. It's on Amazon Prime. You should definitely check it out. The Witch is the best horror film of 2016. Number 7 on my list is Arrival. Anybody that's been following me for a while, following my podcast, knows that I'm a big fan of Denis Villeneuve. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm a big fan of his. I don't know how to pronounce his last name because I always forget. But man, this dude just directs the hell out of movies, and it always ends up in my top 10 basically. Sicario didn't, but I still love Sicario. But Enemy, Prisoner, still have to see Incendies, and then now Arrival. Oh my god. For me, watching Arrival, I had one of the most rewarding realizations I've seen during watching a movie in a while. When something clicks, it changes your entire perspective of the entire movie, and then you want to watch it again with that new lens, which I've seen this movie twice. I liked it less the second time. The first time I was was it the best movie I've ever seen? Second time I'm no, but it's still really good. Like, it's a fantastic movie. Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, I think Forrest Whitaker's in the movie as well. They all do a great job. Just good job, guys. I also love how this was not a just generic action movie, but it's a slow, thought-provoking film about, hey, if aliens came to Earth, we wouldn't try to just blow them up immediately. We'd try to talk to them, because they were like, they could probably blow us up. We should try to talk to them. And I never really thought of that. Also, Max Richter didn't do the score but he did the song for the first song you hear in the movie, and also appears one more time in the movie. That's a phenomenal song. I listen to it a lot. Just highly recommend it. My number 6 movie of 2016 was La La Land, which was my second most anticipated movie of the year going into the year, only behind Rogue One. I've seen Whiplash about 17 times now. It's now one of my favorite movies in general. It wasn't even on my top 10 list in 2014, but like I keep watching that movie now. It's in my top 5 like ever. I think it's a masterpiece. And La La Land is not a masterpiece, but it's still damn good, and I do love that movie to pieces. I saw it again today for the 3rd time, and it still held up. The soundtrack is so much fun. Emma Stone's great. Ryan Gosling's great. J.K. Simmons is hardly in the movie, but he has those quick one-liners, and he's still hilarious as always. The choreography is really script, and the themes weave together so well. It's such a good movie, and you walk out of that movie feel on top of the world, where you're like, I just watched a damn good movie, and that's why I love film. Also, I'm a film student, so like there's a lot of like homages to classic Hollywood, which I caught, which I loved. I love how it's like an old school musical in 2016. I thought that was super smart to do. I guess it was a financial risk, but the movie's making a ton of money, so I'm sure they're totally cool with it now, especially since it's the front runner to win Best Picture at this point. Just a fun movie that you leave just thinking about how that relates to your own life, which is really all I can ask for in cinema for the most part, is like, just make me think or make me enjoy my time, and I did both of those in spades. Highly recommend La La Land. If you haven't seen it, like, what are you doing? Go check it out. So when the Oscars are going on and your friends are like, I don't know what any of these movies are, you're like, well, I saw La La Land, that's going to win Best Picture. Even though it was only the 6th Best Picture of the year. Alright, so I had to switch batteries real quick, so maybe the camera angle looks a little different. Hopefully it does not be noticeable, but if it is, you're seeing this message, so I can be like, hey, camera, change a little bit. Now at number 5, this was the movie that actually bumped off Don't Breathe into number 11 because I watched it and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I was just like blown away by how good it was, and that's Nocturnal Animals. This was directed by fashion designer. He's a fashion designer, I didn't expect that. Todd Ford. Stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Michael Shannon, and Amy Adams. And Armie Hammer is in the movie, which I was like, oh shit, it's my boy Armie Hammer. He's never in movies, so I like seeing him a lot. I'm a sucker for when scripts or movies are able to well integrate multiple storylines that work thematically and don't distract from each other, actually enhance the experience, and Nocturnal Animals did that in such a creative way. There's 3 storylines in this movie, and Todd Ford weaves them together so beautifully. And the performances are so great. I still think Gyllenhaal is the best performance, and I do think Michael Shannon was better than Aaron Taylor-Johnson, so I was surprised to see Aaron Taylor-Johnson get the Oscar push from the studio for this. But everyone's great in the movie. Amy Adams is great. This is my favorite Amy Adams movie of the year, and I did not expect to like this more than Arrival, but I think this is similar to Arrival for me for how smart the script was and how it seemed like it was effortlessly implemented. Their like gimmick, I guess, in quotes, but it was so well made, and I left the movie just like haunted, and I kept thinking about it for days after I watched it. I'm still thinking about Nocturnal Animals like on the daily. I'm like, oh, and they touched upon that, it's like it grows. I read the Reddit movie discussion thread on it, and like everyone has their own interpretation. Like there's so many ways to view the movie, which I think is fascinating. I can't wait to watch it again. I think it just left my local theater, unfortunately, so I have to wait till it comes out on Blu-ray to really get into nitty-gritty of how much, like, what is in the movie. Like, there's a 17-minute sequence in the movie, which I guess, to not spoil it, it's the opening scene of the book version of the storylines, and that might be one of my favorite scenes of the entire, like, year. It felt like 5 minutes long. People were like, oh, it's 17 minutes long, and I was like, what? It was like the airport sequence, Captain America Civil War. I couldn't believe how fast it felt. This movie is like, I think it's probably about 2 hours longish. I don't remember the exact runtime, but it doesn't feel like that at all. And it's just so smart, and it's just definitely a movie where you'll either love it or you'll be like, what? Or you'll hate it. And for me, I loved it. I guess the only part I didn't like really was the first, the opening credit sequence is it's very off-putting for me because I don't like watching that. But I see why I did it. It's very cool thematically, but just when it first started, I was like, oh god, I'm not enjoying this. My number 4 favorite movie of the year is Deepwater Horizon. What an underrated movie. I know a lot of people that watched it loved it, but this movie made no money. Hardly anybody's talking about it for their top 10 lists. And Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg team up once again. This is my first time actually experiencing their team up. I'm watching Patriots Day tomorrow actually, but I want to get this video up as soon as possible, so I guess if Patriots Day is even better, it'd be my top 3 or top 4. But I'm gonna be shocked if it's better than this. This was so magnificently well done. And the first half is you get to know the characters, and I liked everybody. I liked literally all of the characters that you're supposed to like. And then it might be one of my favorite disaster movies ever. Just the way that they show you the disaster happening under the water, and then so the anticipation's building, and then you care about these characters, and it's just insane. This happened. Oh my god. I cried for about probably a solid half hour during this movie because I was so emotionally tense and just I couldn't believe what I was watching. The sound design was great. This movie's very loud though. I couldn't believe how loud this movie was, and I didn't even see it in IMAX. It was I was having to plug my ears at points, which I feel the people on screen were probably doing it as well. But I was can you turn down the effing movie, please? This is very loud. So I'm not even gonna watch this at 2 a.m. so my apartment neighbors hate me. But I watched it at 4 p.m. and they can deal with it because this movie's fantastic. My 3rd favorite movie of the year is Sing Street from John Carney. He was the director of Once, which I haven't seen, but he also Begin Again, which I loved. And I think this is even better than Begin Again. I always have a coming-of-age movie, and Edge of 17 was on this list as well, but this is my favorite one of the year. I also love how it deals with art, and if you're an artist, how far will you go for your art? How far will you pursue it? And it deals with relationships, and it's just the music is also fantastic. This is my favorite soundtrack of the year. I'm still listening to the songs in the shower. I saw this in theaters in May or June, one of those 2 months. I think it was May. And I remember when I left this theater, this was the most hyped I left a theater all year. I was on cloud 9. I texted all my friends, you have to see Sing Street, and then nobody did. And I was that's unfortunate. And now they're watching it, and they're Sing Street's so good. I'm I told you 6 months ago Sing Street was amazing. I watched Sing Street the other day, and it still holds up incredibly well. It's so much fun. This is, I guess it also speaks to me as well, because my friends and I, we liked making these really bad movies with each other when we were in high school. And they're doing the kind of similar thing with music videos as well, which I find really fascinating. And, oh, the guy from Transformers Age of Extinction, I forget his name, but he was in the movie, and he's very good. I'm you're a really good actor. I want to see you in more stuff now. My 2nd favorite movie of the year is Hacksaw Ridge. Mel Gibson returns to directing for the first time since Apocalypto, and damn am I glad he did, because this movie is one of, if not my favorite war movie I've ever seen. Andrew Garfield gives a career best performance. I haven't seen Silence yet, but if he's not nominated for one of those two, then what? Just a tragedy. That's a snub if he doesn't get nominated for either of these movies. Hacksaw Ridge put me on an emotional roller coaster where I was just bawling for 40 minutes. The entire last 40 minutes, I was just crying the entire time. It has one of the best jump scares of the entire year. The action sequences are mind-blowingly well shot, and you feel you're in the battle. The fact that this is a true story even adds to it. You're this effing happened, and then you're well, how realistic was it? And then you look it up, and you're oh, some of the true stuff was cut from the movie because it seemed it was too unrealistic. That's insane. And I also think it came at a very important time where our country right now is super divided, and the left and the right, and everybody's at each other's throats basically. And I really connected with the message that Andrew Garfield's character says in the movie, where he's just like, where he just wants to put a little bit of the world back together while the world's tearing itself apart. And I'm like, that's actually beautiful. And it's a movie that religious people can watch and they'll love. And if you're not religious, it doesn't force their religion upon you. It's more about just believing in something more than believing in Christianity, which I really respect that, where it's not a pandering movie like God's Not Dead or something. Like, it's a movie that is about the human spirit. Yeah, also Sam Worthington, Vince Vaughn, Hugo Weaving are all great. I know this swept like the Australian Oscars, and I really hope it gets a Best Picture nomination, a Best Director, and a Best Cinematography. The score is really good. I forget who does the score, but I've been listening to that score for months now. It's really well done, especially the like tracks during the war itself. It's great. And my number one favorite movie of the year is Everybody Wants Some. Now, this was not the most impactful movie of the year where I like had me reevaluate my life or anything. This was just the most fun I had watching a movie, and most fun I've had watching a movie since. In multiple viewings, I've watched this movie about 6 times so far, and it just gets better. I love Blake Jenner and Zoe Dutch. Whenever they're in anything, I'm like, I can't wait to watch you again. Raw Dog's a character just hilarious. I haven't seen Dazed and Confused. I've heard apparently better. I haven't seen it yet. But Everybody Wants Some, just like, it's such a fun slice of life movie. I think the best compliment I can give this movie is I watched it on Redbox. My friend said it was really good. So I watched it and I loved it. And then I went and hung out with friends. I came home, watched the first half of it at like 1 a.m. crash because it was 2 a.m. And then I still had I still had a day, because you get like a 24-hour rental with Redbox before they charge you for another day. So I texted my friend and I'm like, hey, do you want to come watch Everybody Wants Some? He said, sure. So I watched it again all the way through, less than 12 hours after I watched it originally. And then I went out and bought the Blu-ray and I watched it like 4 more times that summer. It's so much fun. It's a movie I can pop in literally any day and watch it and never get tired of it. The soundtrack's great. Been blasting the soundtrack for months now. I know this is an unpopular number one movie. Like, a lot of people are like, I really like that movie, but it wasn't like good enough to be my favorite movie of the year or anything. For me, this was my favorite movie of the year. It's a movie I'm going to be rewatching the most. It's a movie that stuck with me the most. And it's a movie I'll be forcing my friends to watch the most because it's easy to get them to watch it. And it's just so much fun. Everybody I've shown this movie, when it's over, they're just like, I wish that was just like the pilot to an HBO miniseries. And I'm like, me too. Sadly, it's not. But I could watch these characters literally for years. I could watch these characters sit around and read the phone book with each other and for an hour, and I'd be mesmerized the entire time. That's how much I love this movie. And that does it for my top 20 favorite movies of 2016. I hope you guys had a good time watching the video. I hope you guys are commenting below what you disagree with me with. I'm sure you guys are. I'll be responding to comments below. Give me your own list if it's stuff I missed, like The Handmaiden I know I missed. Let me know, and I'll be sure to try checking out. And I'm also going to be uploading my top 10 worst and top 10 most anticipated movies next year. So look out for those in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.